I don't even know if I still got this. Do I still got this?
I think you got this.
Do you got this?
Oh, I got this.
So tell me, Zaffre, how should I refer to you? Should I refer to you as Zaffre as per usual, do we use first names? What are we gonna do?
Just call me Zaffre. Call me Zaffre.
Are you sure, Zaffre? Are you sure? Are you sure you don't wanna drop that, that government name in there?
Dude, I like being called Zaffre, especially with this like whole persona, this whole internet like personality. I like it. Let's stick with it.
Let's stick with it.
And I'll call you Q, right?
Oh, whoa! You have to think about it. Oh my God!
Think about it.
The horrors.
No. I was hesitating because I didn't know. I didn't want to get it wrong, and then it'd just be awkward for everyone.
You know what? Awkward is kind of my thing. I love awkward. I actually did a podcast before that was all about being awkward. The podcast was all about. It was a romantic podcast, and how it would go is it would begin. It would end. It would end. It's awkward. It's romantic. It's hopelessly animatic. And basically, my co-host, she used to start it, so she'd be like. She's like, it was, and she'd be like, awkward. I'm like, it was romantic, and then she'd be like, it's hopelessly animatic, and that was the episode. So it was always an awkwardly romantic, weird podcast, and I loved it that way.
Wow.
Yeah. It was pretty. I think that's the cutest I've ever sounded in my life. When I listen back to episodes of it, I sound like what I would assume a cute, adorable anime character person would sound like. And I love that. It would be super cool. So
wow, I love that too. That's great.
Do you love that I sound like a cute anime character, or you would love to be a cute anime character as well?
I love that you sounded like that. That there was a point in your life that allowed for you to sound like that.
I would like to be like that all the time, to be quite honest.
Let's just not get crazy here.
So, since last we spoke, what have you been up to? What have you been doing? You've obviously been doing stuff. I mean, you exist,
Yeah. I do exist. Man, where do I start? So last we spoke, it was a couple years ago. A lot's changed since then. My pool of friends has grown a lot smaller, but as a result, those friendships are a lot stronger. So I am happy for that. I've gained a lot more confidence in myself. That's been pretty cool. I'm pretty proud of myself. I could say I love myself at this point. I love saying that. My content has improved a lot. There's also been a lot of like personal life stuff that's helped change me into the person I am today. I got that Yuri Low character development, but I'm feeling good. Like life's a bit on pause right now. It was just kind of like crazy for a bit, but it's slowed down a lot. I feel like it's gonna pick up real soon.
You think it's because of COVID that it slowed down, or is it just other stuff?
Well, a lot of it is due to COVID, yeah, because I can't really go out that much. I haven't really talked to that many people IRL except for like over text and stuff like that. So I've been able to it's part of the reason I've been able to like work on myself, improve my content a lot. So yeah.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. Now I'm gonna just be honest with you, right? I'm gonna be straight blunt, because this is what I mean. The whole reason that we're doing this, it was all a ploy, basically. I pretended that basically I lost the audio, and we needed to do this all over again, but it was all a ploy. The real reason is I've been stalking you online, man. I've been stalking your Twitter, right?
Really?
Yeah, and you don't talk to me anymore. So I've been crying in corners and stuff, finding really nice corners to cry in. Exactly.
What?
And then in the process of stalking your Twitter, I've seen a particular waifu character, that has happened to appear in your sort of story of JRPG life that exists, and I was like, oh, Zaffre has a waifu, and he's never mentioned anything, and now I'm like curious.
Waifu?
Yeah, there was.
I want to know who you think it is, because I feel like I've been a little subtle with my waifu.
I've seen pictures of you and a waifu in pictures, and I'm like, look at this husband out here just having waifus and stuff.
All right, who is it?
I don't know. I actually don't know the person. I've seen a picture of you and this young lady, who I would like to assume that is your waifu. And this is where I need you to confirm, yes or no. Is this young lady who's been in pictures on your Twitter before, is she your waifu?
Well, I'm not sure who you're talking about, to be honest. I'm not really too big on the whole waifu thing that as much anymore.
You don't have a waifu?
Not really. I mean, there's like, like if I were to have one, okay, because I think like, Fire Emblem Three Houses, Hilda's kind of.
No. I'm talking about an IRL waifu, mate.
Oh, you mean like, oh yeah, no. I'm single. There was no, okay, I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about now. Yes, okay.
Yeah. There was a point where I was in a relationship, but I am not anymore.
Ooh, so Zaffre is on the market. Ooh, see.
I'm single. But I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that was a long relationship, but it's over now.
Was it amicable? Did you guys cut the tie up in a nice way, or was it like, nah, I'm sorry, man? Like,
it was a little messy, but it happened. It's been a couple of years now, actually. I'm surprised you still remember that.
That's the thing. You see, that's because we haven't spoken in so long. Basically, my memory of things have all morphed into one thing. Because my past 3 years, a lot has happened in the past 3 years for me. So, and since when we last spoke, I was in Trinidad and Tobago. Now I'm in the UK. So, a lot has changed since then, and in that process, within that time, I found out I have a brother that I never knew about, So. Yeah, it's like crazy. Life is crazy, man.
Yeah, are you in like a soap opera or something? What's going on over there?
It's insane. It's insane. I have kids now, I have a missus, It's amazing. It's amazing. So life has changed so much in the time. In the last 3 years, my life has exploded into this fantastic phoenix of liveliness. And
yeah, my man got busy.
Whoa. I know. It's amazing. So hence the reason why I've been, sort of like, I've been seeing everyone on Twitter and everyone doing their stuff. I see you on there. I'm like, Zaffre has a waifu. Very interesting. Make note.
No, that was a while ago. Yeah, I am single. It took a while to make peace with that, but I'm good now. That was part of the character development, that whole relationship ending and stuff. And it's nice to just not feel like I'm pouring. It's nice to feel like I'm my own number one,
So you're not pouring.
Like, a lot of people are saying like you should put others before yourself, blah blah blah. But I don't know if I agree with that. I think you should be your own number one. Yeah. You should be your priority, and you should love yourself more than anyone else, because you just have a happier life because of that. Like, there's a reason people say learn to love yourself before you love someone else. And
True.
I kind of had to learn that lesson the hard way, but I'm glad I learned it eventually. And I mean, I'm not really actively seeking a relationship or anything. Like, I joke about like being horny on main, but like I'm not even really. Like I said, I'm not in the whole waifu thing anymore. Like Hilda from Fire Emblem's hot or whatever, I guess. But like,
you don't care.
I don't know. If a relationship pops up, if something of interest pops up, I kind of like go with the flow. But I'm not actively seeking anyone right now. I'm focusing on me. I've got content to make, and I'm living my life. I'm trying to be the best person. So yeah.
But here's a question though. So my assumption is that you're not putting any experience points into charisma anymore, is it? Or are you putting those XP points there? But you're just sort of like, if the XP needs to be used, if by the time a waifu happens to like wander on by, I will then have the points to use, or I'm just putting it all into like like health or HP or whatever. What's going on?
I feel like I am putting it into charisma, but I'm not like using it actively. It's just there so it catches the attention of other people. Like I go to the gym a lot now, and I've been working out. I've been eating healthier. Oh, that's another thing that's changed. I'm vegan now. I used to be an omnivore before the last time we talked, but I am vegan now. So I feel like my body's great. I'm sorry?
My missus is vegan, but continue, yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I feel like my body's a lot healthier because of that. Like, I feel great. My body's a temple. I'm drinking a lot more water. That's like my whole brand now, like drinking water and staying hydrated. I'm the most hydrated YouTuber, and I won't hear otherwise.
Oh, okay.
So.
You know what? Because of the fact that you say this, and I am very competitive as hell, I am going to start drinking water now. And I'm just gonna need you to tell me how much you have, so I can just make sure I drink just a drop more than you do, so I can be the most hydrated. You know.
I have like a 32-ounce hydro flask. I drink like 3 of those a day at least. So,
so I need to drink 4. Perfect. You know? Or
okay.
3 and 1 drop, basically.
I live my life hydrated. Like I've reached the peak human performance in terms of water consumption.
Ooh.
I'm very proud.
Very. I think it's something nice to be proud of. I think at the end of the day, peak hydration is amazing. And I mean, while we were talking, I don't know if you heard, but there was a knocking on a mug sound effect. If those of you listening, you would have heard it a bit better because my mic picks up everything. But basically, I've been having vegan ice cream, you know. So
yeah.
I had vegan lunch as well. The missus had this thing that we bought at the shops, this vegan thing. I mean, I'm still an omnivore, you know, but basically, you know, she's been trying to get me to be as vegan as her as possible. I'm very stubborn, you know, I haven't really, you know, the first few months of living vegan life, I was basically, my butt cheeks were killing me, you know, because a lot of beans and stuff, you know, and then
it's great, right? You get it all out of your system.
No, but then when it comes out though, and the sort of like, you know, the sort of sensual smells you get that come out of the cheeks, you know, you start thinking, is this a life I want to keep living? And then
it gets better because like it smells extra bad now, probably because you still eat meat. Like I think like when it comes out the other end, for me it doesn't smell as bad as it used to, because like when I ate meat, I would eat a lot of meat and it smelled like really, really bad. So when I was starting to transition to a vegan lifestyle, like it was all kind of starting to come out now. And my systems were getting cleaned out and I was like, oh my god, this was in my body. Wow. But it's better now.
And you're saying this, not this is you've obviously done like surveys and people have told you like, yeah, your butt cheek smells were stronger before and now they are mild, or has it been that you have become so accustomed to the smell of vegan butt cheek smells that you basically don't smell it anymore? Because you know they say people get accustomed to their own smells that's true. They can't say. So I mean, have you done the surveys?
I have not done the surveys. I could just be used to my own. Ooh, you're right.
Exactly. You see, that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying, you know, it could be that the scents are worse, you know.
Either way, it feels. But I know it feels better when it comes out than it used to. Like nowadays, it just slides right out, and it's great.
Yeah, okay. I have to say that is true. When you do live the vegan life, it just slides out. Sometimes you don't even want it to come out, you know. You just
it'll just come out on its own, yeah.
It's like, nah, I live here now.
Sometimes I'll be trying to edit videos and it's like, we gotta come out like now. I'm like, I'm trying to edit, but like, okay, let's go to the throne. Let's get this over with.
But the thing is that generally speaking, I think I could live a vegan life because throughout my life, my mom has always been the kind of person that she's always cooked very healthy food, and meat has never been a big part of our diet. So it was us having meat was a rarity basically, because mom didn't like meat that much, and so she didn't, because she was the one that cooked as we were growing up. We tended to eat a lot of like beans and rice and all these different things. Because even when we would have like pilau is a Trinidadian dish that's common in the Caribbean. It's basically usually it's rice, peas, and chicken, right? And mom wouldn't make her pilau with chicken. She would make it with rice and beans, and that was it. And when I say beans, I mean like lentil peas, basically. And
lentils are great.
Yeah, they are. They are pretty delicious. And well, it would have like other stuff like vegetables like carrots and pumpkins in there and all that kind of stuff. But now, you know, as I got older, I guess because of the fact that I grew up having a lot of vegetables and stuff like that, I got to a point where I'm like, I want to try some of these meat things that I've been hearing people talk about, you know?
Yeah, now you want to know. Yeah, exactly. I've been, I was very spoiled. I had a lot of meat growing up. And my parents, they were both they both really like to cook, so I kind of lucked out there.
Beautiful.
So, yeah.
Beautiful.
So like the vegan meals were kind of like the new thing. The thing is, like my ex put me on the vegan diet.
Ooh.
She's a vegan, and you know, I didn't want her to like feel uncomfortable when we were together. So I started to slowly transition. I was like, I'll have a vegan diet, so I'm not like, you know, eating a corpse right in front of you, because I know that would, like, make her uncomfortable and stuff. But like when we eventually split off, I just thought, well, I'm already doing this, so might as well keep going. And of course, I would like occasionally slip back into my old meat eating ways, but at some point, I just kind of stopped eating meat. Like, I feel like the transition isn't instant, like some people may think it is. Like, of course, you're gonna fall back on the things you like. Of course, you're gonna slip every now and then. But I personally have got to the point where it's just I can't imagine myself eating meat. I think at some point your body just kind of naturally wants to reject it.
Yeah.
Like just like nowadays, just like smelling meat, it's just like, oh my god.
It
like,
turns you off. You know, the thing is that, like, with my missus, she said the same thing. Like, she was like, oh, you know what, Q, the smell of meat turns me off. I can't stand it. And then I cooked some meat, and she was like, you know what, I'll just take a little taste of this. Smells good. Yes, very much so. So I'm just saying, you know, next time I'm around you, you know, we'll be around each other at some point when this whole COVID thing is over. I might just cook some meat, you know, and just, you know.
Nah, it's not gonna get me. You can't get me, Q.
There may be a chicken wandering around in your neck of the woods, you know. We'll just be hanging out and be like, is that a chicken? Let me take him out, you know. And then headshot, the chicken is down. And I start roasting him right there on the spot, you know. Cook him up nice, stew him down, season the meat. Yes, very nice. He's gonna be like, oh, make sure to eat every ounce of me. Yes. So, who knows?
It's funny you say, like, we'll meet up. I've never actually met any of my online friends. I haven't met a single one of them. Yeah, I've never been to any convention or anything. Last year, I was telling myself this is the first convention I'm gonna go to. I was gonna go to like either Too Many Games or MomoCon, one of those. And then the world started ending. So I said, oh well, never mind. I guess there goes that.
Have you ever traveled outside of the U.S.?
I took a cruise once on like a family vacation when I was little.
That's not a real trip out of the U.S.
Yeah, that's no.
But
I went to the Bahamas beach. I went to the Bahamas, and I went to the beach for like a couple hours. It was beautiful. Oh my god, the water was so blue. I was like, man, this is gorgeous. I'd love to live here someday.
Oh, the way you said that, gorgeous. Yes.
I can't like. I wish I could like properly convey how beautiful it was. Like that was one of the most beautiful places I've ever been to my entire life.
I mean, I grew up in the Caribbean, so I mean that's the thing about the Bahamas, though. Caribbean people don't go to the Bahamas.
Yeah, I want to like actually go to like the other places, the other islands and all that stuff, you know?
You know what? I think you truly don't get a culture shock until you hop over to Europe. Like, you were saying that you've never met any of your online friends before. And I met one of mine who's basically one of my closest friends. He's one of my best friends. He's from Sweden. And we do a podcast together every week, which is called That Beautiful Life. And last year was 2020, yeah? I think was it 2020? No, 2019.
Yeah.
2019.
No, last year was 2020.
Okay, so last year was 2020. 2019 we met up, right? And I basically went to Germany, and then I went to Sweden after, like for like around November or something. I think it was the end of November, beginning of December, right? Yep. And I take this trip to Sweden, right? Now, here's the thing. My entire life, I'd never seen snow before. Like, outside of, like, television.
It's not great.
Well, here's the thing, right? So I was like, well, I'm going to a temperate country. I will expect to be seeing some of this thing that they talk about, you know, the snow thing, you know. So I made a log in my diary. Dear diary, there will be snow at some point, and I will especially, you know, take note of it. But this is the UK. We don't get snow here. It rains. That's basically what you get in the UK. So I've been in the UK that year, and basically just had summer and then rain. And then when I finally was going to Sweden, because I was like, I'm going to go visit my mate for like a weekend. He told me come over. So I was like, I'm going to spend some time with him and his family. We're going to meet up for the first time. It's going to be great. I get on the plane. I'm sitting on the runway with the plane, you know. And I say sitting on the runway with the plane as if the plane and I are sitting next to each other having a cup of tea. But basically, I was in the plane. But I'm there, we're on the runway, and then the people on the mic come on and they're like, ladies and gentlemen, fellows, yes, unfortunately we're gonna have to keep you for a little while. It's snowing in Sweden. Now all this time my mates tell me, oh, it's already, winter and it hasn't snowed yet, it's horrible, how dare it not snow, Sweden always snows. And the day that I decide to travel, it snows. They said the runway in Sweden is covered in a blanket of snow and it's still snowing. We're gonna have to wait till they clear it up. So I'm sitting there, the plane is getting hot because they haven't turned on the AC or anything like that. They try to kill us in there. I don't know. But then, eventually, inevitably, the plane decides it's time to go. So I'm like, okay, let's do this. Right? I think the flight to Sweden was probably, if I'm correct, maybe about an hour or so. It wasn't that long. We get to Sweden, and it's the first time I'm seeing all this snow out the window. I'm like, ooh! Looking good, yes, buddy. And we come down, land in Sweden, and I come out, and I'm like, oh, look at that. I'm that guy with my phone out taking pictures. Yes, snow. And everyone's walking past me like, look at you, such a pleb, knowing nothing. And eventually, I meet up with my mate. I know, right? Just hating me. I don't know what's wrong with them. I meet up with my mate, and we, he basically told me he couldn't come out to the airport to pick me up. I'd have to take a bus to his, because he lives in Stockholm, which is the capital of Sweden. But obviously Stockholm is a big city, and so he said they made an announcement that the roads aren't too safe, so it would be better for me to take a bus to sort of like get to him, because obviously he wouldn't have had time to get his tires done and everything like that for the snow. So I said, okay, I'll get the bus and I'll come over. So there I am trying to figure out how to work Swedish machines and stuff with him on the phone to like get a bus ticket and all that. And then get on the bus, get to him, and I'm at the bus stop, and I'm like, okay, bro, I've arrived. He's like, okay, I'm outside in the car. So I come out through the bus terminal, and I'm like, okay, where are you? He's like, let me see. I can see you. I'm like, really? He's like, yes, I'm coming out of the car now. He comes out, right? He's got glorious long hair and a ponytail and everything. We look at each other. I don't know if you've ever seen this movie. Is it Top Gun? Where Arnold Schwarzenegger and that other guy do the hand embrace with the big flexy muscles, right? Well, he has big flexy muscles. My mate has big flexy muscles. I don't. So we met up, and we just did a man embrace. It was like, we embraced for like a second, and I was about to release, because you embrace and then you're like, okay, let go. And he held me longer, and I was like, well, we're doing this longer. Let's do this. And it was amazing. And then we were sitting next to each other in the car, just talking, and it was surreal because I'm accustomed hearing his voice through my headphones, and it was just next to me, and I was like, amazing. So cool. So it was a surreal experience that happening. The most interesting part of it, and this is the reason why, like you said, my life is a soap opera. The soap opera part of that experience of going to Sweden and stuff was his dad was actually in the hospital at the time when I visited, and he got a call, I think the last night when I was there, and he basically was told by his sister that the doctor said that his dad didn't have much time, and so he had to fly to where his dad lives, which was north, and see his dad. He flies north, and he's spending. I was like, mate, you gotta go. Like you can't. Like you have to book a ticket and go. Like it's important to see your dad. And we basically the night we stayed up and we just drank like strong liquor and just talked about stuff. He told me about his dad. We had a good chat and so forth. And then the next day we both went to the airport. I came back to the UK and he went north to visit his dad. My birthday. Now remember I said I went to the end of November. Right. My birthday is on the 4th of December. He calls me on my birthday or messaged me on my birthday to tell me his dad passed away. And so his dad passed away on my birthday. So every year, because we talk every week, every year he wishes me happy birthday and I wish him condolences now, since 2019. So the soap opera continues basically, as in and I think that the way we looked at it, we both looked at it, was basically it's the circle of life. His dad lived a good life. He did a lot of stuff. He raised him and his sister, and he's such a great person, my mate. And basically, I think a lot of people look at that in a sad way, but also it's there's sort of the circle of life. We all have to cross that path at the end of the day, and so. Just we look at it as a good thing to a certain extent, in the sense he did good, he lived a good life. So, at the end of it, let's not cry about it. Let's just have a good a good talk, a nice, enjoyable time. Look at me.
Yeah, man, 100%.
Bringing on the podcast, talking about, people passing away. But that's not the point. Zaffre.
It's all good, dude. It's all good.
This is what happens, You get me on a call, and things like this happen.
Dude, podcasts are all about tangents. Like,
They
that's
are.
that's what this whole thing has been about. Like, did we expect to talk about vegans and meeting up with all my friends? No, but it just happened.
Exactly. It just happened. And I think that's the thing. That's the thing that I want to do with this, is just have conversations with people that I like, cool, awesome, amazing people, who basically ease their butt cheek air out in silence, about interesting things, that's basically
So
it.
another thing that's kind of happened since we last talked is the new gen of consoles.
Ooh, you
Have
have
you
them?
gotten your hands on
Well,
I have not. I haven't had the opportunity.
Here's
to
the
get
problem, right? Because I was back in Trinidad and Tobago last year. Because here's the funny thing, I left to go back to Trinidad and Tobago last January 2020, and the intent was to go back to Trinidad and Tobago to sort out some stuff and then come back to the UK, right? Because the whole process, I'm basically, if you ever move from continents or from countries, there's a process to moving. You can't just up and leave and go to another country and just live there. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
And so obviously there's a lot of things you have to do to get to that point. And so I was like, I'm gonna begin the process, and I'll just make some trips back and forth until I get everything sorted out. Because I started a new relationship with a beautiful lady here in the UK, right? And basically started the process. I said I'm gonna go back. I told my missus, hey, I already have this flight booked. I'm gonna go back, and I'll come back in like a few months. We'll see each other soon. I get back, and of course that thing happened. The thing that ended everyone's existence as they planned it, basically. And I was stuck.
Yep.
I was stuck there for an entire year, unable to come back until December. December was when I came back to the UK, and basically within that time, the new consoles came out. Now, the original plan was basically to get the consoles and have them shipped here, because I was already setting up all my my press credentials and stuff for the UK, right? And so I couldn't get any connections with anyone out here because I was in TT. I couldn't call UK numbers that easily. It was an expensive cost, and basically Sony and Microsoft were just basically just blocking you off. Whereas if you're in the location, it's easier to sort of like arrange things. And so all my mates over here in Europe, in the UK and stuff like that, were able to get themselves a press unit of a PS5, an Xbox Series X. And here I was in the Caribbean, like a pleb, not receiving one, and I cried, it was very sad. But
It's okay, Q.
I know, it sucks. It really sucks. I mean, I am currently in talks with both companies, Sony and Microsoft, but obviously because they've already shipped out batches for the press, they're not in the mood right now to sort of like send any more. So I'm basically negotiating with them to try to get myself one. If not, I'm gonna have to buy one. But the problem is, I don't mind getting one, like purchasing one. The problem is you can't find one in stores. So
Yeah. So that's the
it.
problem right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I haven't gotten any either. But like, honestly, I wonder if a part of me is starting to kind of move away from consoles. I'm in the process of building a computer right now.
Oh my god. Okay, here's the thing. I'm excited about this.
I am too, dude. I've had this MacBook Pro laptop since 2015. I think it's a 2012 model. I've been like editing all my videos on it and stuff like that, and it's served me well. But it's time. It's time for something more powerful. And I have all the parts. I need a friend to help build it and stuff. I'm talking with some people right now.
No. Forget them
people.
Forget them people. You have me. That's all you needed. This is the reason this call happened. You were talking to these people, but you didn't do any of them because secretly in your heart, you knew that it would take someone perfect. And here I've come in, perfectly, just ready to help you build your PC.
Shouldn't settle for anything less.
Nothing.
I tried to build it on my own, like following a video.
Nah, screw them things. You just need, you need an expert. You need someone who is a PC expert, and
Yeah,
I'm your guy,
clearly.
man. I mean, here's the thing, right? My PC, I scrapped it when I went back to, like, I built it here in the UK, scrapped it to take it back to TT with me when I went back, because obviously I need to get work done, and then brought back the parts and rebuilt it again.
Wow.
So
You built it on your own?
I've built many pieces of. Actually, at a point in time in my life, I was a computer technician. I used to build and repair people's PCs for them. That was a job I did. So it's something that, to me, it's like building pieces is a day-to-day thing to me. It's like a regular thing. I could do it with my eyes closed. I know where everything goes.
Dude, yeah, I tried to build it on my own. I almost had it, but I messed up on the CPU because it's super sensitive, and
yeah, it's
barely messed up.
Which, like, here's the question: what build did you get? Are you going Intel or AMD?
I think I got AMD. It was a Ryzen.
AMD.
So
AMD.
Yeah.
Ryzen is AMD. Okay, perfect. That's the easiest build. You know, that's the easy. AMD is a lot easier than Intel in some ways, like doing the clamps and everything like that. Basically, just let me know when you want to do it, and we can hop on a call or video call, and you can show me what you have in front of you, and I can tell you where you need to go, and just make sure you at least have a secondary computer there, like your laptop, a USB drive, and the rest we can do. The rest is simple. It's just putting everything together like Legos and then programming the thing, you know. So it's pretty simple. It's pretty simple, and then you join the PC Master Race. You know, it's beautiful.
It's like, because PCs, it's just like, I'm tired of having to get a new console all the time where you can just update a PC. And plus, you know, there's the beautiful E word that we can't say. That I'm very interested in.
Let me think. What's this E word?
Because, you know, with game preservation being as non-existent as it is.
Oh, you mean emulators?
Yeah.
Here's the next thing too as well. I remember someone asking me this question before, and I can't remember who it was. I can't remember if it was a friend or a family member or someone was asking me, so what is the reason to get a PC? You know, Xbox has exclusives, PlayStation has exclusives. What are the PC exclusives that you have on PC? And I was stumped. I honestly didn't know what to say. But then in this moment that we're having this conversation, I have remembered the one game that is an exclusive on PC that everyone has to get at some point or the other, and that game is Subverse. Right now, I should state this immediately. Subverse is a game rated M for mature, so if you're under the age, don't even look this up, don't even Google it, you know.
Darn, guess I can't play it.
But everyone else, it's basically Mass Effect but adult. And well, Mass Effect, if it had Final Fantasy Tactics gameplay in certain sections with space combat, you know. So Mass Effect meets I think it's Geometry Wars. So Mass Effect meets Geometry Wars with adult content. That's basically what Subverse is.
Like the Geometry Wars aesthetic? That was like that space shooter Xbox Live game, right?
It is, but it doesn't look like Geometry Wars aesthetic. Like, it looks like the ship looks like well detailed and 3D and stuff like that. But the gameplay seems similar. Like, you have ships coming in from the outside of the screen, and you're shooting them and moving around and stuff like that. So it's a game that was kickstarted and blew up on Kickstarter. And the guy who made it, the people who made it, basically, they were like, usually when people make these adult games, they're terrible. Like, they're just bad games. And I guess he wanted to make a good game, but just make it adult, you know?
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what it did. And it just came out this month, actually, the beginning of this month. And I think it's early access on Steam right now. And yeah, it looks good. I think it's like $30 is the price. But those people, if you kickstarted, I think you got it for like 15.
Okay.
And so yeah, the Subverse, I think, would be the game. If you're an adult, if you're a kid, I can't tell you what game it is.
Yeah, I can't play it, but you know, anyone else.
It's probably gonna be Roblox or something if you're a child. If you're a kid,
that's what I play. I play Roblox a lot. And I play Fortnite every day. Yeah.
We know, you know what, Zaffre, the people listening to this, they know you don't play those games. You know why? Because the image that's gonna be on here is gonna be some kind of JRPG, and anyone who should like Google you will see that basically everywhere you are, you have JRPG stuff. You're a JRPG gamer.
I'm a JRPG guy. I'm also become an indie gamer kind of guy. I've been dabbling into a lot of indie games as of late. When I'm not playing a JRPG, I'm probably playing an indie game or a 2D platformer.
Ooh.
Those are like my three things. Although I feel a little weird calling indie games like a genre, because it's not really. That's like calling AAA games a genre.
It's a style.
Like, yeah, it's a style. 100%, yeah. So I've been playing a lot of indie games lately. Like I'm addicted to this new. It's a little over a year old now. It came out last year in March. It's called One Step from Eden. That game has been taking over my life. It's like, I love the indie games that take this hyper specific like thing in the past that a company isn't doing anymore and just builds off of it. And One Step from Eden takes the Mega Man Battle Network battle system and puts it into a roguelike and just like goes crazy with it. It's so good. Like, after this I'm probably gonna play it. I'm making a video about it right now. I'm working on one because I've just played it so much. I need to do something with it.
I've actually seen this game. I was questioning playing it. Like, it was something that was on my radar, and the only reason I didn't get it was because it was a roguelike. Because of the fact that I kind of wanted to keep my my development, because I miss Mega Man Battle Network, and I was like, right? It's a Mega Man Battle Network game. I can't wait. And then it was like, but it's roguelike, and I was like, no, my progress will be lost.
This is the first roguelike I really got into. I've been playing a lot more roguelikes afterwards. I really like the genre because I'm a very replay heavy kind of guy. Like, I love it when games have a lot of replay value. I think that's started to become a lost art over time because it's all about the games that take a billion trillion hours to beat. But like, there's something beautiful about a short game where you have meaningful progress, and it's nice to just pop in and go another run, make it a little different each and every time. I think there is a place for replay value in long games. Like, that's why I love the Tales series so much, because those are very replayable. But you kind of get what I'm saying.
I do.
I understand that like roguelikes aren't for everyone though. It's a very niche genre. So
it is. I have a lot of friends who like them. For me, I haven't found my roguelike. I'm looking, but I haven't found my roguelike as of yet. I think generally speaking, I do love the indies. Like, my favorite game from last year was an indie game. It's called Haven.
Haven, I've heard of that. Yeah,
I reviewed it last year, and I loved it so much. It's like it's like a Western JRPG, but with cute romantical stuff in it. I was like, oh,
nice,
sign me up. And
yeah, my favorite. Go on. Sorry.
No. Continue.
I was just gonna say my favorite games the last year were indie games. It was One Step from Eden and Crosscode, even though that technically came out in 2018, but it released on consoles in 2020, and that's when I first played it. I played it on the Switch. That was like my absolute favorite game of last year. It was so good. It's an indie RPG.
That's the thing. That's
one of the best games I ever played. So yeah,
it's one of the titles that I actually want to pick up at some point or the other. Crosscode. I just don't think I have the time right now to play it because I've been playing a lot of you got review copies and then you have other things that you're playing, and I just haven't had the time. But as soon as I do have a bit of time, and I say that as if I'm expecting to have time. I don't think I will ever have time. I think I'll just have to make it happen. But it's something that's on my radar. It has been on my radar for a while because I keep seeing it. And again, the Switch is probably the best place to play it because I think games like that look gorgeous on that handheld. And so, yeah, man.
Yeah, definitely play it if you definitely make time for it. It's really, really, really good. It's an investment though. I don't think it's too long. I think it took me like 40 hours to beat, and that was like doing almost every side quest in the game. I wasn't really using a guide. The game makes it easy to keep track of what side quests are available though. So I just kind of like use the in-game stuff to do most of the side quests. It's also really hard, but I really like that. Like I like challenge for all the right reasons, both in terms of like combat and the puzzle solving. So yeah,
I'm looking forward to jumping in that. And again, indies are just stepping their game up. I think AAA games are just becoming so saturated with monetization, or everything is a Destiny clone at this point. So I think
there's a lot of variety
in indies.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because I think in the whole AAA space, everything kind of seems the same. Like even this game that just came out recently, is it Outriders? It looks like Destiny. You know, it's like it's the same thing to me. I'm not saying it's not a good game because I don't play those types of games. But what I'm saying is they all look the same. They all have this similar vibe, and there's no sort of innovation to any serious extent.
I think that's why we kind of stick with JRPGs. You know, they're always like trying to come at the genre from different angles, different styles, all that sort of thing.
Also, they're waifus. I mean, that's basically why I play JRPGs.
Oh yeah, well, you know.
I only play JRPGs for the waifus. You know, I pick a JRPG up and they tell me, well, this is a JRPG with no waifus. I'm like, wait, Final Fantasy 15, is that you? I'm sorry, I'm not playing you.
You know, I've never actually beaten a Final Fantasy game.
Really? Can we make that happen?
The furthest I got was Final Fantasy 6, and this was when I was a lot younger. Well, like when I was younger, I still don't really like random encounters, but like when I was younger, my patience was even thinner. So I just got to a point where I was like, I can't take this anymore. I gotta play something else. Now that I'm older, I want to go back to Final Fantasy games because I can, you know, I still don't like random encounters, but I can sort of power through, especially if the combat's engaging enough. Like I finished Octopath Traveler a little bit ago, so that's like a very classic Final Fantasy styled game. Very flawed, but I liked it a lot. Still.
Yeah. Do you have PlayStation Plus?
I don't have a PlayStation. The only console I used to live with my family. My brother had a PlayStation, and I would just play his. But when I like moved away, money's been kind of tight, so I just have a Switch. And like I said, I was saving up my money to build a PC, so I could kind of catch up on all the PlayStation exclusives I missed. I played a couple of them though. Like I played Persona 5. I haven't played Persona 5 Royal. I played a little bit of Nier Automata. When I build this PC, I want to like play it all the way through, that sort of thing. But yeah, I don't have a PlayStation.
I think when you build your PC, get I would say subscribe to Xbox Game Pass if you can. It's for me it's about £10.99 on a monthly basis here in the UK.
Yeah.
And the thing with Xbox Game Pass is that Microsoft and Square Enix have been working a lot together on Game Pass. So you get a lot of Octopath. Yeah, Octopath is on there, and not just that, but a lot of the Final Fantasy games are on there as well as Nier Automata. So, and then Sega has been doing stuff with them as well. So if you're into the Yakuza series, that's also on there.
Yeah, I've been meaning to get into those games.
It's a lot. There's a lot of games on Game Pass. So I keep the subscription, you know, on a monthly basis. And I would say sometimes if you buy into the subscription at the end of the year, you get like a sale. But if you're building your PC now, I'd say get in as soon as possible because it's not that expensive for a monthly basis, especially if you know you're gonna play the games. If you're not gonna play the games, don't get a subscription. But if you are,
I don't know about like monthly subscription based stuff like that. Like I like owning the games, you know. Streaming services are kind of hit or miss for me. Like I'll do them for like movies and TV shows because that's kind of like the only option that has. But that's a whole nother story. But with game preservation being as bad as it is already, I do definitely want to make an attempt to own my video games. I like physical games a lot, but since I'm going to PC, that's not really much of a choice.
You're going to be digital. But I think the thing with PC as well is that if ever you lose access to the game, there's always, that thing. You know, you put your flag up with your skull and bones and just get it over with. You know, like okay.
Yeah, I'm all good now. Not on that front. Look, game developers aren't making it any easier. Like Sony's ending the PS3, PSP, and PS Vita online stores, and that's a lot of games gone right there. So
exactly, put your flag up. Put your flag up.
I wish game companies weren't trying to like antagonize piracy so much. Like, what's wrong with with the fans making an attempt to preserve the games you clearly don't care about?
Exactly.
Pretty frustrating. I'm like, if you want to go down that route, anyone listening to this, go right ahead, because like game companies clearly don't want your money if they don't want to sell these old games. Like Xenogears, once the PS3 store's gone, that's gone. Like you feel like spending thousands of dollars on it on an online store that the game companies get not a penny of. So
exactly, It's basically, and I think that's one of the things that I admire about Microsoft with Xbox is that with their service, not excluding just Game Pass basically, but almost every Xbox 360 game and Xbox One game is on Xbox Series X.
Yeah, Microsoft is good with their older titles.
They're good with backwards compatibility. So there are a lot of games, like for example, I didn't even know people had SSX3 still, but SSX3 is on the Xbox One and Xbox Series X, and I was like, oh my god, I love SSX.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So there's a lot of good games.
Where's that Jet Set Radio Future on Xbox One?
It's,
I only played the first one. I've never played Future.
It's probably on the Xbox Series X and Xbox One. You never know. And people are selling Xbox One X's for like ridiculously cheap prices these days because everyone wants to get that new console. So they're like, yeah. So, and all the games play on all the consoles. But the thing about that I will, going back to PC, is that pretty much almost every Xbox game is on PC because Microsoft puts all their games on the PC. So you get everything almost everything that's on the Xbox, unless of course if it's like third party. And then everything else is on Steam or Epic. So like, what do you call it? Kingdom Hearts just came to Epic this month.
I kind of want to pick that up when I build a PC. But I don't know. I've heard some mixed things about the PC ports. But I think for the most part, they're pretty good.
Don't worry. The thing is that I've been doing PC for years, and I have consoles as well. So I have the PS4, I have the Switch, I've had Xbox before, and I have my PC. And I would say, yes, every now and then you get a game that is buggy, that may have a problem here or there and so forth. But I think if you build a generally decent build, if you have a pretty good PC for the most part, and you're not trying to do something ridiculous, you'll be fine. You'll literally be fine with pretty much every game. And not just that, but you have such a variety and a large amount of games to play that you'll get to a point where it's just like everything is on here. The Tales series, Final Fantasy, Ys. Basically, if there's a JRPG series, it's on PC at this point right now, because Kingdom Hearts was the one holding out. Square Enix was holding back Kingdom Hearts, and all of a sudden Kingdom Hearts is on PC, and it's like, holy shit, it's actually happening.
And now we're good.
Yeah,
like PC is like the ultimate way to preserve your games. Like people are always asking for re-releases on all the new consoles, but like now I'm just like just put it on PC. And we're good. That's all you gotta do.
Exactly, that's the way to go. PC has, I think, for years has slowly started to become, I think, my primary gaming sort of like platform to sort of like game. And I think the more and more people start noticing it, I think, I would be honest, right now is probably the worst time to switch to PC, and it's not the PC's fault per se, but it's for graphics cards. The graphics cards are really overpriced at the moment because of cryptocurrency. So
I got like a lower end one.
Which one did you get?
Like the 980, something like that.
980. Okay, that's still good.
So I got it from a friend. She gave it to me because she got a new one. She's like, "You want my old capture card since you're building a PC?" And I was like, yeah. So that's what I'm gonna be working with.
All right, that's perfectly fine. I think a 980 has just enough power to run pretty much almost everything, especially if you're gonna run it on a 1080p screen. If you're gonna
it's 1080 is what I'm.
That's perfect. Then you have no problems. You're gonna be able to run pretty much everything that comes out now and for the next couple of years until you're ready to upgrade your graphics. And especially you have a Ryzen processor. And I'm assuming it's a Ryzen 5, yeah?
Yeah, exactly.
Is it the 3600?
I'm sorry?
Is it the Ryzen 5 3600? Oh, are you not sure?
I'm not 100% sure. I could like grab it real quick, but I mean it doesn't really matter.
I think the people here already invested, though. I think they want to know. How far is it?
All right, I'll be right back. Give me like 2 seconds.
2 seconds it is. I'm going to start counting. 1 second. 2 seconds. He's not returned bit, ladies and gentlemen. This is what happens. This is what happened the first time Zaffre and I chatted. He said, we'll continue talking in 2 seconds, and I never heard from him again until now. It's a long time. I'm not an emotional person. You guys know this. I don't.
All right.
Sorry.
I'm sorry I lied. About being 2 seconds.
I was just
All
telling
right.
the listeners that basically this is basically how we first met. You know, we spoke and then we said, oh, we'll talk again soon, and then we never spoke again until now. And my feelings were hurt. But
What? We interact on Twitter every now and then. Twitter is like my home. That's where I am all the time.
It is. It is true. So tell me, what have you got? What's the processor called?
All right. AMD Ryzen 5 3600.
Ooh! Is that it? And then nothing else?
6-core 12-thread processor.
That's the same one I'm using, bro. That is the same one I'm using. And your boy
Yeah,
is playing everything,
All right, yeah. Is this like the most important part? I thought like the graphics card was like what helps run the games and all that.
Well, it depends on certain games. Some games are processor heavy and some games are graphics heavy. But because you're also a content creator, you're gonna want to have as many cores as possible because of the fact that software like Premiere and Vegas and stuff like that, they really count on your processor. They do use your graphics card, but processor is important. So
that was like what I was hoping for the most, because I really want to like up my editing game, and editing on a laptop is hell.
Yeah,
like it's so bad. I have to wait like so long for videos to process. I made a Xenoblade 2 review, and that's my longest review ever. I don't know if things are gonna get that long for a while, but it was like 55 minutes, and it literally took like 12 hours to process to render the video. And then like right off the bat, after I process videos, I'll watch them just to check before I upload it, and I like noticed like this slight pixelation in the text, and I was like, I rendered this at 720p, didn't I? And I checked, and I sure did. I was like, well, time to spend another 12 hours waiting to get it in 1080. I'm very picky when it comes to like the quality of my videos. I like to upload in 1080 60. So I'm glad, like I'm proud that I noticed the difference just by eyeballing it.
Yeah,
I've gotten to that point, but it was still very sad.
I think pretty much everyone who's creative in some way, content creators, podcasters, artists, everyone has a specific thing that bugs them, their OCD, that when they see it, it's like, I can't do this, need to do it all over again. And I get that. I get it a lot, because for me, it's writing. If I write something and I'm not satisfied with it, I just can't publish it. I'm like, the people will not like this, I hate it. And especially when, like, for example, a lot of times I'll write something and I'll just like have someone in my family read it, and if they don't tell me, oh my god, it's the most riveting thing I've ever read, I'm like, it's trash, I can't read that.
Part of that is also because like we're our own biggest critics, but like I'm right there with you, dude. Like there are a couple of things like that like bother me. Like I like when I edit, I cut out all of my like breaths unless I put it like specifically in the script, and like I'll like redo lines over and over again just to make sure the delivery is perfect. And like I capture my own footage for videos, and if it's not at 60 frames, it really bothers me. Like with Octopath, that was kind of like the breaking point, because I got all my footage off the Switch version, and then I looked at some PC footage, and I'm like, man, that could have looked a billion times better if I just had a PC. I can't wait any longer. I gotta build one right now. So,
you see, that's the thing. And here's the funny thing. I was actually having this same conversation with Tax Gauntlet. We were having, I'm sure you know Talks, yeah? No, you don't know Talks. Oh my god. Talks, I'm so sorry when you listen to this at some point and Zaffre doesn't know you. This not me, bro. I'm pretty sure I thought he knew you already.
Let's meet, like bring it on. I need more people to know on the internet. But anyway, go on.
Talks is a Canadian JRPG guy. He covers JRPGs, and he dresses up like a waifu, he wears a dress and stuff,
Word.
So he's hilarious, and also he's very articulate about his JRPGs, and he's good people. He's actually gonna be on one of these, so he's gonna be on one of these episodes. There's gonna be one with Talks, and basically Talks, I'm so sorry, man, like, this is not me, this is Zaffre. You blame him, right? I thought he knew you already. But that being said, Tax and I were having the same conversation. Was it yesterday? We were having the same conversation about the fact that we're our own worst critic. Because he was asking me, he was like, "Hey, have you done the review for what's that game called again? Is it Run to Pick Up Girls in the Dungeon, Infinite Combat or something like that? I think it's called. And I was like, bruh, I know I was supposed to do that, but I played it for stream, and I just, it was just so bad. I just didn't have the energy, the sort of like thing to like review it properly. And it's not like the game is the worst game I've ever played, but it's got so much potential, and they just didn't use it. And that just bothered me. And you know, we were having that conversation about the fact that we're our own worst critic, that I could make a video of this, and people would probably be like, oh, this is great, this is pretty good. But me knowing me, I know I'm gonna go hard on that game. I'm gonna be like, nah, this is the worst game ever played. Never play this in your life. Find yourself something better like Haven. But
I feel like I had like a similar situation where it's like I could make a video on this game and people would probably like it, but I feel like it won't be like sometimes you just don't have the energy to make it the best it could possibly be. Like some games just like don't give you enough energy for you to give enough back. And like if the feeling's not there, you just gotta move on. That's how I was with Tokyo Mirage Sessions Sharp FE Encore.
Oh, I love that game.
Oh, good for you.
I mean, and here's the thing, right? Here's the funny thing, right? Those of you watching, because there's a video version of this that's gonna go up on YouTube. The video version of this is actually just the image of your YouTube channel.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's just what I have Discord. Is it this? No. OBS capturing the footage of your YouTube channel. The thing is that I was looking at it, and then all of a sudden I realized, oh shit, I don't have the notification bell hit. I'm subscribed, but there's no notification bell, and I felt so bad. You know, I mean, here's the thing: I do watch your videos, right? But here's the funny thing, though. The last video I watched from you was actually based on what I'm looking at here, based on YouTube, was actually your World Ends With You video. So I actually haven't seen your Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Or your So basically, that's how many videos. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 videos.
It's all good. My videos are long, dude. It's all good.
I know they are long, but
with you video, it's a good video. I'm proud of that one.
But I mean, granted, I mean, I feel bad, you know. So, ladies and gentlemen, don't be like me. Go over to my boy Zaffre and hit the notification bell, because I'm always in my video checking these things. Like the other day, I was talking to my missus and I'm showing her like the statistics on my channel. I'm like, look at all these people subscribe to me and not hitting the notification bell, because YouTube tells you. It's like,
yeah, I try not to look at that stuff.
It hurts my feelings, man. It's like,
yeah,
none of you guys subscribe.
Exactly.
And I'm doing the same thing. I'm so sorry, Zaffre.
It's all good, dude. It's all good. But like, that's one of the things I'm most proud of with my videos. I feel like they have a lot of lasting power. Like if someday in the very, very, very far future, when I walk away from this whole thing, I want to just have a library of long form, just good ass content that just like is still able to be watched even all those years later. Like I know a lot of the most loyal subscribers, they don't always watch a video as soon as it comes out, because my videos are usually pretty long, and they're like, oh, I gotta like set aside time to really watch this.
True.
And I appreciate that, because that means they're actually invested, for one. And like I'm glad that my videos are made in a way that they can be enjoyed in that sense. Like I still get a lot of people watching like older Tales reviews specifically. I mean, sometimes I cringe because like a lot of my older videos are not that good, but
I think your older videos are amazing. I mean, because when you first got started, and I saw because I don't know if you remember this, but the first time we spoke, I told you that all I kept seeing for the whole month is this guy's video on my feed constantly. YouTube is like, you may like to see this and recommend it, and I keep saying not interested, and YouTube keeps putting it back, and then I'm like, fine, YouTube, screw you, I'll watch the damn thing. And I watch it, and I'm like, good lord, it's brilliant. And that's when I reached out to you. I was like, hello, how are you doing?
Man, yeah, I wish YouTube still recommended my video.
They don't.
Well,
YouTube doesn't care anymore. They're like, he's already got his moment of fame. Screw this guy.
Yeah, but I'm still pumping out that content. I think it was probably like the choosing your first Tales video, right?
Yeah, I think that was basically it. That was the one. Yeah, I saw.
Like I actually hate that video now. I really don't like it. Like I have like a whole playlist of like unlisted videos because I don't want people to like search them up, but like I understand some people like going back and watching the videos that like they first got into my channel. So I have like a playlist of just unlisted videos. I part of me wants to remake that video, but Another part of me is like, it's probably not gonna do as well. It's probably too late. People probably don't care anymore. I should just move on. I've remade like some older videos that I haven't released yet. I've remade a couple of reviews, just because I just really want to like up the quality of my videos. And like again, when I walk away from this in the very, very, very far future, I want to have like these titles to have been represented in the best way possible, if that makes sense, you know?
I understand. I totally understand. And here's the thing, right? I'm a bit sad that you've taken away the Tales video and hid it in this playlist, because I was actually looking for it. And then when I finally searched on the playlist actually says old videos with a sad face, you know, icon.
Yep.
I'm like, no, these videos are amazing. Like, what is wrong with this guy?
Half of those you could probably make the argument for. The other half, there's no excuse. Like some of the videos in there, I'm like, woof, these are really not good.
And this goes back to what we were saying. We're our own worst critics, because I can watch your videos and say, man, you've been making good content for just ages, and you watch them and be like, ugh. And it's the same for me. I'll go back to some of my earlier videos and be like, good lord, the horrors. And people will still come back and tell me like, man, that video was good. And I'm like, no, it's not. You're just saying that to you know, not hurt my feelings. I know it sucks. You know it sucks. Don't pretend with me. But yeah, we are our own worst critics, and I think to a certain extent we need to find a way to get over that. It's just really hard. It's really, really hard to sort of like not get. You know, funny thing is, I actually did watch one of your recent videos. I think I watched the Tales of Symphonia one. I think I did.
Oh yeah, that's an alright one.
So I did watch one of them, on the recent ones. YouTube is showing me that I watched it, so I guess I did. This was 2 months ago. Tales of Symphonia.
The Dawn of the New World review.
Yeah. I think I watched that one. Because
oh yeah, that's a great one. Yeah, I thought you were talking about the original Symphonia one.
No.
I really like the Dawn of the New World one. That was my first collab on my channel. I'm really happy with how that turned out. Yeah.
Well, actually, so I don't count as your first collab. I mean, no, fine then.
Well, on the channel, I mean, like on my channel, I've collabed with you, I've collabed with a couple other people on their channel. But like this was like the first one on my channel,
and I wasn't even invited to be the first on your channel. You know what I mean? Just,
whoa.
Putting that out, you know? No one calls Q up, hey Q, how you doing? I'm like, just in my corner here, crying all alone. When are you gonna invite me over? The funny thing is, if I'm gonna mention a name, and if you don't know this name, I mean, he's probably gonna be heard too. So I remember with Shadow, right? You know Shadow EDHD?
I do know him, yes. We've talked a couple of times.
Yeah. Okay, so I remember this time Shadow, I was streaming and Shadow pops into my stream and he, blah 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 and stuff like that. And I've been on Shadow's podcast before, and I hadn't been re-invited for a while. And so I'm in the stream, I'm talking, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you know what? I have beans to pick with Shadow. And, Shadow's like, what? I'm like, this guy has never invited me back to his podcast, The Horrors. And Shadow's like, oh, so sorry. I didn't think you wanted to come back, basically, or something like that, along those lines. And then recently, he just invited me back. And I've been on his podcast for the past I've been, I don't know how long until he decides to kick me, but I've been on on pretty much every episode for the past 4 episodes, I think, of his podcast. I mean, at some point he's probably gonna get fed up with me and he's gonna be like, nah man, I'm gonna kick this guy, he needs to go. At a point in time, again, I will cry, but it will be a very manly cry. My teardrops will be strong, they will have 6-packs, and they will hit the ground and crack the concrete, because
that's pretty impressive, dude.
Yeah,
it's pretty impressive.
Exactly, that's how men are supposed to cry, with very strong teardrops. And I mean, like, one teardrop at a time. The teardrop comes out and it's like, mucho manly, yes, it has a mustache and everything. So, wow. Yeah. So Zaffre, quick question, right? You said that in the very long future, you have, if you step away from your channel, or when you step away from your channel, what are your plans for the future with your channel? Like, what do you want to do? Is there, other than the whole creating great content that can be something that you can go back to and look at and be proud of, do you have any future goals in the near future?
I am so sorry. Is right now, of course.
You're clipping.
I don't know if the mic can. I don't know if the mic can pick it up.
You were clipping for a sec. Say that again.
I said, I'm so sorry. Like, someone's just mowing the lawn right now, and it's the loudest lawnmower in the history of ever. I don't know if my mic can pick it up. But
I heard it at the beginning, but I don't hear it now.
yeah, that's frustrating. But anyway, that's a good question. Because honestly, I don't know what my plan is. I'm still trying to figure out my style. Like I've started like the review series, like the revolutionary reviews, and you know, I'd like to have like a library of those. Just this passionate guy talking about games, like mostly that I like. You know, sometimes if a game like, you know, passion derives from both love and hate. You know, like if I passionately dislike something, like I did with Star Ocean First Departure R, then, you know, I made a video about that because I was like, I gotta talk about this. Like, this was so bad. Like, people gotta know. But like, you know, something like that, like a whole library of that, just for people to kind of binge watch and look back on. Like, yo, these are some cool videos. This is some cool coverage of this guy really understanding what these games were trying to do, really understanding what these games were going for. Other than that, you know, I like to do like video essays and countdowns and all that, but as for like some kind of goal, some kind of overarching theme, I'm not entirely sure. I'm still kind of like figuring out what I want to do, what kind of direction I want to take the channel in. Like if I decide to like drop the Revolutionary Review series, I mean, so be it. But I'm still growing. I'm still figuring it out. I'm still trying to find like a brand that really suits my style. So
okay.
Yeah, to answer your question, I'm not really sure, dude. This was kind of a lame answer, but it's just kind of where I'm at right now.
It wasn't the answer I was looking for anyway, so you know, I'm just gonna keep that to myself. You know, I was hoping you would be like, oh well, you know what, Q, since you weren't the first person to be invited to be, you know, to collab with me, you know, you'd be the second person. You know, so that's my most recent plan. Is basically that, at least, you know. But
Gotcha.
But actually, I think that's a good idea. I think at the end of the day, I mean, everyone has to find what they want to do with the stuff that they create, and I think over time you slowly find what you want. You slowly get to that point, and I think when you're there, you know you're there. And
yeah, exactly.
I think that's the thing. I think if you don't feel that you're there right now, I think obviously, yeah, you keep searching, and then you find it. And then when it clicks, it's like, yes, this is what I like doing. This is the way I like doing it, and so forth. And yeah, I think it's a constant growth thing as well, because I mean, to a certain extent, even when you get to that point, as a creative person, you always want to keep growing. You always want to keep, you know, pushing the boundaries and stuff like that, and just make better content, make more content, do more basically. And keep upping your game, because stagnation is a killer. You know, you can't stagnate, because once you hit that point where you're no longer inspired by it, that's the point when you actually need to step away. At that point in time, it's like, okay, I don't think my heart is in this anymore, and I probably should do something else. So I get that. I feel it. I'm with you on that. That is beautiful.
100%.
So you mentioned moving. And what state are you in, so the stalkers can find you?
Well, I don't want to give away the state, but I am in the East Coast now. I used to be I was in the West Coast for a while, but that didn't work out. That kind of fell apart along with my relationship when that happened, you know.
So you're back in the East.
Yeah, part of me kind of wants to go back to the West, though. I liked it better.
The West is pretty chill. I mean, I loved San Francisco last time I was there. San Francisco was amazing. I did not enjoy Florida, though. Florida was not nice.
Really?
I don't know what people like about Florida, but Florida just reminds me of the Caribbean, and I'm like, yeah, I've been there, done that. Peace. I need something new.
Yeah, for sure. I was in California when I was in. It's just so expensive. And like, you know, after my relationship, when my mental health was just at time limits, like I don't got the drive to survive out here. I gotta go back.
Yeah. I understand. I get that. I truly get that. I mean, sometimes emotions hit you to a point where while I was back in Trinity, I didn't have the drive to do a lot of work because I was away from my missus, and it was frustrating knowing that I had planned to go and come back, and basically seeing that the odds of me coming back soon was not going to happen because of COVID and all that kind of stuff. It was bothering me, and it meant to a certain extent, whenever something would happen over here with her and all that kind of stuff, it would stress me out that I couldn't do anything, that I'm unable to do something, and that sort of thing meant that I wasn't putting out a lot of content. So for 2020, my output was terrible. Like I basically killed my main channel to a certain extent because I wasn't active for 2020. You know, I think I probably maybe only did like about 10 videos in 2020 for the whole year. You know, which is terrible for YouTube.
Still more than a lot of people though. So 10 videos is almost like a video a month.
I'm probably upscaling that. It's probably less than that. I just want it to sound good. It's probably 2. I probably just added 8 more just to make it sound good, but it was probably 2.
Some content is better than no content, man.
True. And not according to YouTube's algorithm. It's like, what? You haven't been active for a while.
YouTube's algorithm hates everyone, so
it does, man. It does. It just hates us all. But that's the world we live in now. We just have to accept that that is part of our existence, and So, Zaffre. This has been beautiful, hasn't it?
Yeah. 100%.
Are you just saying that so I don't cry on the podcast?
Nah, as a matter of fact, I want you to cry, but I want you to cry I want it to be tears of joy.
Ooh, say no more. I'm loving it. Here's the thing. I do want to have you back. I do want to have another conversation. Because I still have a lot more questions that I want answered. So I'm leaving a sort of like a bookmark here. There will be a part 2, Zaffre's Revolution part 2, right? So this is part 1. Those of you who like this, subscribe and like or wherever you find this thing, just leave a comment, all that kind of good stuff, and come back for the future, the other questions. And if you have questions that you think I should be asking that I didn't ask the first time, let me know. So I'll ask those questions this time. Like maybe you want to know what kind of waifus Zaffre likes, because maybe you're a waifu and you're interested in filling that open void that has appeared in his life.
Wow, ladies, if any of you play Tales of Vesperia and know how to air combo with Judith, hit me up.
Ooh, say no more. The guy knows what he wants. Priorities. That's what I'm talking about.
Also, you have to drink water. Ooh. That's non-negotiable. I'm sorry.
So no juice, no beer.
You just have to be fairly hydrated. If you like other drinks, it's all good. But there's a certain level of hydration that's part of the requirements.
So if your hydration bar isn't at least 80%, screw you.
That's right.
Okay, I like that. Again, knowing what you want, that's beautiful. Zaffre, where can people find you? I mean, we know your YouTube channel, but still, point that out to the people. Tell us, where can they find you?
Yeah, well, like you said, the YouTube channel, if it's being showcased on the screen, if you're watching a video format, Zaffre, I'm Zaffre Revolution. It's spelled Zaffre and then Revolution. You should just be able to type in Zaffre and you should be able to find me that way. I'm also on Twitter at Zaffre Revo, so Zaffre Revo, and I'm up there. I'm trying not to tweet as much so I won't clog your feed or anything. Just the occasional opinion, plug in my videos, all that stuff. But yeah, those are about like the only 2 places I really go on. I'm gonna start streaming soon. I'm not sure if I'm gonna do it on Twitch at Zaffre Revo if I do, or just on my YouTube. Again, Zaffre Revolution. But that's it. And drink water, please.
And drink water, please. You know what? That's gonna be the title. And drink water, please. And here's the thing: when you start streaming on Twitch, your boy is gonna be there. I will, if you decide to do Twitch, that is, I will pop in.
Yeah, either Twitch or YouTube. I'm not 100% sure yet, but we'll figure it out.
Exactly. Yeah, You say we, as the, I'm assuming I'm helping with this figuring out. Zaffre, it's been a pleasure, good sir. I enjoyed this conversation, and those of you who've been here for this ride, who are listening to the audio version of this thing, we hope you enjoy. Those of you listening to or watching the video version, again, enjoy that kind of stuff. And so with that, make sure to again like, share, all that kind of good stuff. If you're on YouTube and you're subscribed to either me or Zaffre or anyone else, make sure to hit that notification bell. And yeah, basically, we are out. We're gonna see you guys in the next one. The next one, I don't even know who's next on this list. I don't know. Zaffre, you're number 3 actually. You're the 3rd recording.
Third time's a charm.
2 times the charm. Okay. Simply Binge Podcast is a part of the Simply Binge network of podcasts, which include That Beautiful Life and Skill Points. All of our podcasts are available on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, Castbox, and most other podcast apps. You can also follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at Simply Binge UK. Visit our website simplybinge.com if you'd like links to what we mentioned in the show. And lastly, special thanks to all of our guests for taking the time to share a bit of their insight with us today.